red, leather, yellow, leather. No. Unique, New York, unique, no. My muffin top is all that whole grain low fat. I know you want a piece of that, but I just want to dance. Checking out my sweet hips, my sugar-coated berry lips. I know you want to get with this, but I'm just here to dance. Okay. Oh, we're recording already. That's nice. This episode of Obscure Chatter is brought to you by being tall. Can you reach the top shelf? Because, not to brag, no wait. Yeah, no, I totally can. So, suck on that, Bedelia. And now, on to the episode. Sure. Welcome to another episode of Obscure Chatter. I am your host, Terri Doty. If this is your first time listening, welcome. And if it isn't your first time, welcome back. You are a glutton for, I want to say punishment, but you're here and I'm here. So let's not make it a punishment. Let's make it fun. For some reason, I'm blanking on the opposite of punishment, which tells you where I am mentally right now. This month's sponsor was an idea that came to me after a grocery trip recently. I was nearing the end of an aisle when I saw a very sweet, short old lady looking at the top shelf, longingly. And she was gripping a Mrs. Butterworth in her hand. So as I passed her, I asked if she needed me to grab anything, and she looked so relieved. She was so adorable. I'm not intentionally infantizing the elderly, but she was just very sweet, and she had just looked so distressed before I offered to grab something for her. So when I handed her the sugar-free Mrs. Butterworth that she couldn't reach, you'd think I'd have saved her cat from a tree or something. She just smiled so big. And I wasn't having a horrible day before that, but that really made my day. Being kind is kind of awesome. Being kind is its own reward. I hate to tell you this, but that shouldn't be a hot take. But maybe for some people it is. But yeah. Let's go ahead and start with some water. We're going to stay hydrated as we are again in the booth. Oop, you heard that gurgle. If you did, shut up. Oop. No, we're fine. We're fine. Are we fine? Yeah, we're fine. I've spilled an entire tall ass souvenir fuzzies cup of water on stuff in a booth. So just a little dribble is fine. Starting off strong. Well, here we are. It is the end of November, and I've barely broken into my coat closet. And that is a crime against humanity, or something not as dire or overdramatic. But yeah, that's right. I'm already bitching about the weather. I have to. I don't think you really have a grasp of just how many jackets, coats, and hoodies I really have, or how much I hate showing my arms in the general public. For those new here, I talk a lot while watching something, but I don't want to tell you what that something is. Most of the time it's a movie, and the name of the episode is based off a trope tied to the oh-so-secret piece of media. So, if you're curious, I'm watching Censored. There was a time where that used to be a beep, but constructive feedback was, please stop fucking doing that. I hate it. And I took the note. It's crazy. I'm recording this episode a little later than I have been, but I decided to take advantage of being off at least a couple times during the week. Stephen and I have been talking. I'm like, I don't remember ever having the full week of Thanksgiving off. I remember only having Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. But some kids have a whole week. I don't know. And also, I'm 40 years old now, so I don't really ever get time off. And a freelancer, so most time off is just, oh no, we're not going to go there yet, are we? No. Lately, I've been giving myself a healthy gap between recording and the release. I didn't realize how much I was rushing myself until I changed things up a bit. Like I used to record and then like the next day, like release the episode. And now it's like record, spend some time mixing it without it having to do it immediately, writing up the synopsis, and then like promoting it a little bit when I do, which I know is rare. But yeah, it's much less stressful this way. Again, this is supposed to be fun, not a punishment. It's supposed to be the opposite of a punishment, which is exactly supposed to be fun, makes things fun. I'm recording this the day after Thanksgiving, also known as Black Friday. And what am I thankful for? That it's over. Oof. Yikes. Yeah, Black Friday. I remember being forced to wake up stupid early with my mom and aunts to get, to whatever store. It was usually a Walmart or Kmart or a Macy's. And to get there right when they opened. And then as a retail employee, I remember being forced to wake up like in my car to get to the store, get the store all ready before like a 6 a.m. opening. Y'all don't understand. But sales suck now on both ends in a different way, which is that the sales aren't really sales. Give me a reason to wake up. Like I literally remember like a half price coupon that was good off 50% off of one thing. And I literally like put my friend's like Christmas present on hold and then woke up early, drove all the way to half price just to buy it and then go back home and saved like $75. There are no coupons like that anymore. It's almost like capitalism was a mistake, but that's crazy talk. I know. I really can't think of a true fond Thanksgiving memory, and maybe I'm just not thinking hard enough, but probably not. This one wasn't terrible. Both of us, both Steven and I, prepared for some kind of drama. Our niece and nephew on the Hoff side of the family, they are just loud. More my nephew than my niece, but very loud. They did not like to be excluded from basically any conversation. So as my father-in-law and I are talking about like Michael J. Fox. He's like, who's Michael J. Fox? I have a Michael in my class. And just a tiny part of me is like, no one was talking to you. Eat your green beans. But yeah. I think I've become a bit of a stern aunt. I snapped at my nephew for trying to eat his pie before the main course. I snapped at him for not saying please and thank you to his own parents, to which they did not fight me on that. So what does that tell you? And when he tried to take stuff from his sister, I just didn't let him. And my niece loves Steven so much. Guys, it's so cute. Like, cuter than sweet old lady just wanting to get a sugar-free Mrs. Butterworth cute. And like, she just didn't want to leave him. And, that's enough. That's enough to consider it a good day. I mean, there's nothing truly to celebrate outside of family. Because Thanksgiving itself as a holiday is baloney. It's a big bag of baloney, like left out in the sun baloney. But let's stop telling the kids otherwise. Let's stop, just saying, I don't know. Are they still teaching that? They probably are. God knows. I'm in Texas, so we have our own problems with the school system. Everything's fine here. Everything's fine. But, yeah, Steven and I have had a few conversations about this particular holiday and whether or not we'll continue to make it a thing once, some loved ones pass. And it's like, I do love my nieces and nephews. And this one, we had some real talks when we were able to distract our nephew enough. And maybe if we had kids, it'd be a more definitive yes. I don't know. We'll see. We really will. But I've been up to more than a few things since the last time we chatted. But I've obviously got to talk about media from the past month first. I really hope that you are prepared to put things on your to-read or not to read list. I might be discouraging some of you. There's a not to read list. Did you know that? A to read, to watch, to listen list. If you're not ready, that's too goddamn bad. Too bad. Let's take a sip before we talk about the arts. And again, we're holding on to the tradition of I have to narrate that I'm about to take a drink of water. You're welcome. Okay, what am I thankful for? I'm thankful to services like Cloud Library, Hoopla, and Libby, because that is a way to access stuff I haven't been able to hunt down physically, including what I'm watching right now, which is censored. Sorry, no, beep. None of y'all miss the beeps, I understand. But these services help minimize costs as streaming services aren't getting any cheaper. Thanks to Hoopla, I've been listening to a lot of Queens of the Stone Age over the last month. I have a CD somewhere that I can't find for the life of me. Steven and I actually have been looking. I know I got it. But the albums currently in the heaviest rotation are their self-title, which is the one I thought I had somewhere, and Songs for the Deaf. And that's just been fun. Doing some yoga to Queens of the Stone Age. It's pretty fucking awesome. I hadn't really heard any of their new stuff, or new to me stuff. Steven and I did check out the show called Wolf Like Me with Josh Gad and Isla Fisher. It's not, I don't want to say it's Isla Fisher, but music plays a big part in it, in the show itself. And Queens of the Stone Age is a big thing that's brought up a lot, and their music is incorporated into the score and is in the opening, or in the intro. It's all interwoven. It's pretty fascinating. So much so that Steven and I are like, how much money did Queens of the Stone Age get from this? Or did they give? I don't know. It's good music, so I'm not bitching. Wolf Like Me itself as a show, amazing surprise. It's a werewolf story that's put in a very realistic setting, which makes me really anxious in a fun, mostly fun way. There's a widower with a very depressed daughter that's just trying, he's just trying to get their lives back to a new normal while living in Australia. Josh is the widower, and he doesn't try to do an accent. He's American in it. And then one morning, bam, car accident. And the other car in the accident is a widow with a dark secret. She's a werewolf. That's the secret. And it's, they don't try to hide it or whatever. It's just a very interesting show. I haven't heard anybody talk about it, but I love it. I'm really anxious for more. I hope the season 2 ended on a cliffhanger and there's no more currently. And I've been kind of checking. I'm like, please don't cancel it because it ends on such a weird note. I have to know what happens next. But also thanks to Wolf Like Me, I've been listening to Crowded House. I've heard several of their songs, but I didn't really seek them out before that. It's been good laundry day music. Most of my physical music lately has been found at Rag & Bone in Hurst, Texas, I should say, because if you don't know, I'm in the Lone Star State, and yes, it is hell here sometimes. But yeah, Rag & Bone is a great shop that everyone should check out if they're local to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. One of the many cool things Heather from Rag & Bone does is she checks the gear she buys in to make sure it works. And so on my last trip there, I found a dual cassette radio player, or cassette player radio, whatever the fuck you want to say, by Accent, which seems like a familiar brand, but I can't think of anything else that I might have had growing up by Accent. I'm not sure if it's even a defunct brand, or if it's defunct or for real now, but it's a lot of fun. I don't know. There's just something about it. And this was bought at the perfect time, because Steven got me the Tron Ares soundtrack on cassette. I've already talked about Tron Ares soundtrack, and I know I've already talked about how I'm probably never going to watch Tron Ares because of Jared Leto, but that's another thing. I've just been listening to it a lot streaming, and there is something very special about listening to it on tape. And you're going to ask why. A lot of people ask, why do I like tapes? Why do I like VHS and cassette? And I just do. Isn't that a reason enough? Isn't it? Some people really want to know why. And it's like, you like what you like. Other music that Steven's gotten me into has been Project Pitchfork and Boy Harsher. And music I've gotten Steven into includes Brandy and Pussycat Dolls. Aren't we amazing? Aren't we adorable? I mean, the answer is yes, don't be a dick. So I planned on watching some new stuff when it came to movies, but I just, I talked about it in the last episode, like it was meh, and not a lot of new stuff. As far as movies really hit me, I don't know if I watched any new movies. I'm trying to think. I think I exclusively stuck to rewatches, which still counts. And I typically don't talk about like the rewatches as much as I talk about like new to me things. But yeah, rewatches definitely have, like, I watched Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight again. That's an annual watch. Billy Zane in that movie truly is something else. He gets to say things like, do me a favor, don't scream, just hear what I've got to say. And then scream. I mean, no, I will not expand on why that's something. Nope, won't. No, I definitely won't. But Blade 1 and 2, also watching back-to-backs, which has been fun. And Blade 1 and 2 is a big one. Both are great films for very different reasons. And I found both at half price, the half price near me, my go-to half price on DVD. And I remember the employee checking us out, like, pretended to be shocked that I didn't get Blade 3, which was also there. He's like, what? You didn't want to snag Blade 3? But why? Because it just isn't good, Robert. It just isn't good. Oh my God, I think I saw that trash fire in theaters. Yes, with a fuck ton of friends at the time that were very vocally ugh during the whole movie. And the most memorable thing about it is Ryan Reynolds calling Parker Posey a cock-juggling thunder cunt. Oh, that was when I liked Ryan Reynolds. He's still attractive, but I'm sure that bums Ryan out to hear that I'm saying that. I know. He'll get over it, though. A lot of people like Blade 2 more than the first one, but the first one was a huge Marvel success that is severely underrated and not given its flowers. It definitely deserves more love. It's pretty good. Yeah, Wesley Snipes. Fucking amazing as Blade. I'd love to see more Blade stuff. We'll see if they actually let that happen, the powers that be. Another back-to-back are the Happy Death Day films, which have absolutely no reason to have such heart, be funny, and really dark. All, like, necessarily in different points, but they're fun. Obviously, the first one's more horror than the second one, but I love them both. And then on Halloween, I did a marathon something, but I also did unintentionally, wasn't planned, watch the original Fright Night and then the remake. And the remake isn't bad. I mean, Anton Yelchin, David Tennant, Toni Collette, Colin Farrell. Is it Colin Farrell? Yes. I sometimes get the names of Colin Farrell and Colin Firth mixed up. With a surprise by Chris Sarandon, the original vampire. Come on, watch it. It's already old now, which is interesting. Over 10 years old, I mean. On Thanksgiving itself, which is yesterday, we did our annual watch of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's the go-to Turkey Day movie. I will not hear otherwise. It's so funny. I used to share this clip, but the clip of Steve Martin in the rental car place cussing out an adorable Edie McClurg, I believe is her name. I used to let my students do that if they wanted, especially if, like, cussing really isn't their game. And also, like, you can play so many different levels with it, but it's... like they would memorize it too. Like, man, what if you did that as a monologue, like really auditioning for something? Like, welcome to Marathon. Can I help you? You can start by wiping that fucking dumbass smile off your rosy fucking cheeks. And you can give me a fucking automobile, a fucking Datsun, a fucking Toyota, a fucking Mustang, a fucking Buick, 4 fucking wheels and a seat. And I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of fucking nowhere with fucking keys to a fucking car that isn't fucking there. And I really didn't care to fucking walk down a fucking highway across a fucking runway to get back here to have you smile in my fucking face. I want a fucking car right fucking now. Only to be like, you're fucked. That is normally how I just talk, but I'm working on not saying fuck like it's oxygen, but there's a lot you can do with that monologue is what I'm saying. And sometimes that makes me miss being a teacher. Not enough to deal with some of y'all. But, if you haven't seen The Hunger Games but better, it's the best. You can ask Steven because I've annoyed the shit out of him with it. I've been quoting it constantly. I did share links on my Blue Sky and Threads. You can also just search The Hunger Games but better. It just gives you that old YouTube back in the day vibe, which makes me feel old as shit, but yeah. And the marathon that I did on Halloween I mentioned in, I believe, the last episode, maybe September, that I was going to watch Marvel Zombies and give it a shot. And even though I gave up on What If a while ago, I'm glad I did give it a shot because I loved it. We loved it. Yeah, we watched it pretty quickly and then did a marathon during trick-or-treater time. Watched that, watched Ironheart, and then came back to it again. It's great. Ironheart, also, yeah, wasn't well reviewed, which is worth examining, but I won't right now. I feel like it was destined to fly under the radar. I liked it. Shock! I really didn't think I would. I don't know. Sometimes, there are plenty of Marvel movies that I'm not into. And I vaguely remember, I've only seen Black Panther 2 once. It was good, but it doesn't have that rewatchability that the first one does for me. And I know that's where Riri was first introduced. Oh my God. Guys, been into like Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, whatever kind of fanatic that is. That's the kind of kid I was. And I figured when the reboot or relaunch or whatever you want to call it, happened, it was for a new generation. The one that came out with David Tennant as Scrooge McDuck, it just feels like it honors what came before, but it is something totally different. I've laughed, I've cried, I've gasped. The episodes I watched this morning, I literally had to take a break because I'm like, like crying over my coffee. I'm not lying. There are just a lot of storylines that I'm convinced aren't for children, that these are for us that grew up watching DuckTales and have gone through some stupid shit. There was a Three Caballeros storyline, and I loved that movie as a kid. I have no idea if I could stomach it as an adult. I know there's a lot of lore to it that I couldn't have known as a kid, which makes me scared to try it out. But yes, DuckTales, I like it. I like it a lot. I talked about it way too much over lunch with a friend recently. Oh my gosh. Then as far as books, I've been all over the place. I enjoyed Rosie Hewlett's Medusa that I read a while ago. I want to say at least a year ago. But I'm glad I was finally able to pick up The Witch of Colchis, which is a retelling of Medusa. As a Greek mythology dork, I hadn't read much on Medusa or Medea. And I found myself like searching stuff from chapter to chapter. And it had some heartbreaking moments, but I would read it again. So yeah, check that out by Rosie Hewlett, The Witch of Colchis. Another retelling is a series that hasn't concluded yet. And I don't think I've ever read anything by Sophie Keetch before. This might be her first series or her first set of books. But it's her Morgan Le Fay series. And I've mentioned this before, but I'm a huge sucker for good Arthurian books. And Morgan Is My Name is the first book, and Le Fay is the second book. I do not remember the name of the upcoming third book, but I'm really into this series. The third book doesn't come out till March, like late March, early April. And, you know, it's books where Morgan Le Fay is the main character. I'm sure there are others, but I haven't encountered those yet. Let's see. Another new to me author is Lissa Mia Smith. And the cover for her book, Gilded in Vengeance, immediately caught my attention. It's very beautiful, and it's described as revenge meets the Gilded Age in this thrilling YA fantasy set among the glittering magical elite of the late 1800s New York society. And it's really good. It's a nice surprise. I haven't gotten over like YA books. I'm just, I've read so many now, and as I get older, I don't want to read the same plot, and this does not have the same plot as anything. I really enjoyed it. Something completely different outside of YA. I've read a few things by Kayla Gross before, and Axes and O's is, I think, the first Kayla book that I've mentioned to Stephen. It's referred to as a lumber snack romance, and he loved that idea. And no, I will not explain to you what a lumber snack romance is. He got to explain that to a work colleague. So there's that. Being married to me is interesting, especially whenever I go over things that I've been reading. I'm not going to hide that I'm reading saucy books. But A Matter of Taste by Skyla Gray is the second book in the Valentine Society series by Skyla Gray. And great vampire read. I like the world building. I forget if I've mentioned reading the first book, which was An Acquired Taste, which I read in like April, I think. Vampires are hit or miss for me, but like I said, I like the world. Simple premise, boom, boom, boom. Like it. Love it. I want some more of it. I finished Feeling the Heat, Part 2 by Emily Antoinette. Not sure if I've mentioned reading Part 1, but I've talked about a few Emily Antoinette books on here. I've only recently gotten into Omega-verse books in general. Those may or may not be your thing. You might like this one, or anything by Emily Antoinette you might dig. She's got a lot of really good books out there. But, you want me to explain what Omega-verse books are? Let's get a little bit more water. Well, often there's a hierarchy of alpha above all others. Others meaning betas and omegas. Sometimes women can be alphas, sometimes men can be omegas. And betas, more or less, are the majority of other people, depending on the lore. Almost always, these aren't shifters. Shifters are different than this. Sometimes. They look like normal people, but with more animal instincts. Omegas can go into heat, and they typically need more than one partner to tend to them over a period of days. I think I'll leave it there. I mean, unless you really want me to talk about slicks and knots and ruts, and I've already lost some of you. So now, I think I've made some of you uncomfortable enough for now. I mean, some of you, you're welcome. And outside the Omega-verse, I got to catch up on more of the robot series by Isaac Asimov. I just recently read The Caves of Steel. And I know I've said it before, but I really wish I'd gotten into the robot series sooner. It does require breaks, at least for me, but I'm really into them. Samantha Downing's Too Old for This was a nice change of pace. No Omegaverse, I promise. It's not my usual read, but I am trying to prevent lulls by branching out and surprising myself on what I connect with. And Too Old for This is a book about a retired serial killer that most just see as a sweet old lady that was once falsely accused of murder. Or so she would have everyone believe. Oh my God! What if that's the sweet Mrs. Butterworth lady? I just survived a serial killer, random encounter. No, I won't do that. Like, I know her, but yeah. I love the sense of humor in it. And I was rooting for the serial killer, like, not like Dexter-ish, but ish, very ish. Like, she doesn't kill bad guys. She's just easily annoyed and quick to murder. So I was rooting for the serial killer, which is only acceptable if they're fictional. Y'all with the Dahmer and Bundy obsessions are gross. Just gross. Let's see. We did cover a lot with media. I think it's fair to say I've been keeping my brain busy and active, or distracted, from the everything, gestures to everything. Randomly, I was coming back from a session when I got down my street. This is like not too long ago. I saw a bookshelf at the top of the curb, or at the curb of one of my neighbors' places. And if you've tried to thrift a bookshelf, you know the struggle that is often seeing bookshelves that are not for sale. Like, I just want a fucking bookshelf. So, when I passed the bookshelf, by the curb, I went to my house, parked, and fucking, I'm saying I ran out there, but the Ring footage will tell you that I'm lying. It felt like I was running because I was just so excited, but, I left it in the garage, like after I picked it up really quick, just in case there was something wrong with it, like, who knows, like mites or some shit, I don't know. And Steven, I brought Steven into the garage and, got to say something I've never said in my adult life that I can recall anyway, which is, can you believe they were just throwing this away? When I lived with my grandmother as a kid, she used to make me and my brother go with her to neighborhoods on trash day. And we'd scope out stuff and pick up stuff that we could fix up ourselves. And my grandmother and I, she passed away a couple years ago, and we didn't end on the best of terms. But finding that shelf made me remember one of my favorite things to ever do with her. She's probably one of the major reasons I love thrifting and antiquing, honestly. I love repurposing stuff. I really do. Stephen does too. And he loved that shelf, and he said it was a good find, which I'm like, go Terry. It's your birthday. And if it isn't, stop. No. But he took it into the sunroom after a couple of days, cleaned it up. There were some cracks, but, wood glue and a soft hammering do go a long way. So it's already in use by holding some tapes and discs, physical media display for the win. It's pretty great. Yeah, there have been, there have been some bright bits among the darkness, and I'm going to hold on to hope that there's more coming down the way. I hope you've had a good time this holiday season. Jesus, how are we already here? How are we already here? It's a little bananas to be like, oh yeah, it's already, like, I'm recording this the day after Thanksgiving. How? So you might recall in the last episode that I wasn't feeling like doing really much. Like, again, the meh of it all. That didn't really change after my recording, which I did like at least a week before Halloween, I did find a giant not pumpkin, for about $5 and carved him up on Halloween Day to prevent him from going bad before Halloween and Dia de los Muertos. I like to light up the pumpkins on the 1st and 2nd as well. Highly recommend. Okay, no, actually, Steven did the carving. I lost my good carving knife, but it was just fun to watch him carve it up. And we named him Anthony Pumpkins. I do feel like Anthony rotted faster than the pumpkins or jack-o'-lanterns usually do. It was gooier than I really thought he would be by the 4th. Yeah, there's this vinegar trick that I'm going to try to do that would preserve him longer, but we'll see. I don't know why jack-o'-lanterns are boys. Oh my god. I have a gender bias with pumpkins. Oh my god, I'm learning so much about myself right now. But yeah, alas, Anthony Pumpkins, Sir Anthony Pumpkins, is now in the garden feeding all the creepy crawlies. He's still dissolving. Yeah, my jack-o'-lantern is a knight, or was a knight. And we got trick-or-treaters, which more than we have in a couple of years. It was shocking. Even the neighborhood's been a little meh. And we weren't planning on doing it for a combination of our street's pretty busy with car traffic and there's no sidewalks, so it makes it hard for kids to just like walk to your place. And also candy prices this year were fuckdiculous. And you know, we do put the pumpkin out. Like that's like the pumpkin has to be facing out. So so the spirits and Samhain know you are honoring them and all that other funkiness. So I think Anthony like invited a few people. But I think some of the kids were confused. Like, do I knock on the door? Do I not? Luckily, we have candy year round because sour candy helps me when I have panic attacks. But yeah. Oh, and those, for those curious, because I was drawing a bunch of ghosties and I just stopped. It's because I wanted my hand to recover. I ended up doing 33 total. I added ones for November 1st and 2nd, and my hands needed a break. So I will be back drawing my ghosties. I have not just given up. I honestly do not know how my friends that are pure hand drawing artists do it. I commend you for several reasons, but yeah. It was a chill end of the month. It really was for October. And I guess November, pretty chill too. Maybe I'm downplaying how much I enjoyed, the Halloween season. But it didn't hurt that Steven took the last week of October off. Our dating anniversary is October 26th. So we try to do stuff. And I think I've mentioned it before, but it seems like we do a lot more for our dating anniversary than our wedding anniversary. And at the end of it all, we just want to hang out with each other and eat good food. And have some adventures. I would love to have flown somewhere, but flying, even when things are pretty good, is still terrifying, and things are not good right now. Also, and then pair that with, I don't really have anybody close to me that I trust with my house or my dog, or I don't trust my dog. So yeah. I get paranoid that she'll be hard to like book a hotel with if I bring her with me. It's this whole thing that I'm sure is a lot less dramatic than I'm making it. But so we did like a staycation type of thing. And what's better than doing a bunch of vacation stuff and still coming home to your own bed? That's not terrible. But, I mentioned Randy Adams' tattoo studio in Fort Worth the last episode, and we ended up doing it. We ended up going. I did my first tattoo there. A lot of people local to the area, that's where we went for our first tattoo. So much has changed there since then. And I also got my septum piercing like almost 20 years ago there. Great piercers there. as well as tattoo artists. So ownership has changed and they've remodeled. Steven and I did Mercado Juarez, or Mercado, not Mercado. Mercado Juarez in Fort Worth, which is one of our favorites. We ate too much and then just went to get tattoos. Always eat before your session. Do not come starved. That's a recipe for disaster. But here's the thing about heavily tattooed people. Most of the time, they're dorks. As a heavily tattooed person myself, trust me, I know. We're dorks. So when we walked in, we immediately were greeted by the owner and their resident piercer, and immediately started geeking about stuff, telling way too many inappropriate jokes that I cannot replay here. And, you know, what did Steven and I end up getting? Maybe I want to keep it a secret. Yeah. We were there a good chunk of the day. Mine took longer than his. But, yeah, they complement each other. Let's say that. Yeah. We had the same artist as Troy. Oh my God, I don't remember his last name. And he's an artist from New York that's moved to Texas, been here a while. He was a judge on an episode of Ink Master, which means I've had 2 Ink Master judges tattoo me, which is a random thing that I realized afterward. I'm saying that like I'm a huge Ink Master fan, but I'm really, really not. I can't really sit through any of the episodes, but yeah. And that's not to diminish Troy at all. He was awesome. We talked about, again, a bunch of stupid stuff. We immediately started saying stuff, and then an hour later we would have inside jokes about what we had said previously, which is hard. Sometimes you don't vibe with your artist and they're just there to work and you're just there to get the tattoo, and then you go your separate ways. Other times it's fuck, this guy's awesome. So yeah, we made sure to get the tattoos toward the end of the staycation, because you don't want to do a lot of stuff even with the second skin on. You got to minimize bacteria. You got to take time off from working out. And for the love of God, why would you try to go swimming, you dumb fuck? I've never done that, but I've seen people literally come into studios as I'm getting work done and being like, hey, there's something wrong with my tattoo. And you just see artists be like, you went swimming. Oh, no, I didn't. Motherfucker, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing what happened to it. You went swimming. Don't fucking lie to me. So yeah, take care of your tattoos, you dummies. But yeah, along with Mercado Juarez, there's a bunch of yummy food that we got to have. And, it's Mexican / Tex-Mex, which they are different. There are subtle differences in them. They're so good. I miss a margarita from them. I've been alcoholless for a while, but God, I do miss a good margarita. And I used to go to the restaurant. They had 3 locations in North Arlington, but the one in North Arlington closed. And the one in South Arlington by the Parks Mall is okay, but the one by Fort Worth is the preferred one now that the North Arlington one is closed. Again, that broke a lot of hearts. That was a go-to place. Me and Tatum did a lot of dinners after that anime shows there. And I don't think we ever learned why they closed. No, still bummed. I'm still bummed about it. But on our actual anniversary, we went to Karacha in Hearst, and it was good. But I think we hyped ourselves up too much to have it. It wasn't as good as I remember, but it's still, for a special occasion. You know what I mean? So it used to be a church's chicken, which is funny. I love what people do with existing architecture. But then the next day we went to Dragon House in Southlake, and that was special. I hadn't gone in a while, and not to be old, but going on a weeknight is key. Honestly, the big place that we planned to go as far as food was Jackie's Ham and Eggs in Louisville. I love a day of thrifting in Louisville, and Jackie's has to fit into that schedule, that day of thrifting. They close pretty early, so you gotta plan just right. you you will see gigantic pancakes, bigger than your plate, bigger than your fucking head. And you'll have an awesome waitress. And just the vibes are great. Yeah. Steven always gets the pancakes and really does what he can to finish the pancakes. But he'll never win. But the thrifting itself, the prices have gone up. People have gotten shittier. But I did find a copy of Fourth Wing hardback first edition for $2. I found the complete Firefly series for $1. I found a Jack from Supernatural t-shirt and a Spice Girls satanic shirt for probably too much. I don't know what that sound is, but I know there's more that I got thrifting, but I'm also confusing some of my purchases with going to Movie Trading Company. And Movie Trading Company just celebrated 45 years in business. They have mystery bags sometimes, and I got 2 VHS mystery bags for a grand total of $16. I got Naked Gun 2.5, Dragnet, most of the original Star Trek movies, Along Came a Spider, and like 40 other tapes, which is so fun. Will I keep them all? No. I did look some up, being like, hey, I've never even heard of this movie. Let's watch it. Let's go. But that's definitely a half price run. Like, even if they give me like a penny for each of them or just don't, they can take all the ones that I don't want. It's just got to keep things relatively clear around here. You know, it's easier to do since I just did this giant overhaul and moved things around in my house. And the energy has just been really nice in my house. Like, it sounds hippy-dippy, but is that a bad thing? Don't answer that. It's not. And yeah, we actually framed like a poster that we've only been blowing off for like 9 years. So there's still a fuck ton of other things to frame. And yeah, I moved these giant curio cabinets, one of which I actually had in my office. And then, you know, I was just thinking, I'm like, I got these cabinets for office space that I was trying to rent. Oh my God, that was like right before the lockdown. I'm so glad I didn't lock into like a 3-year contract. But I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before, but when I was really, really busy as a vocal coach, I wanted to move things out of my house because some people kind of made me fear for my life. I really wish I was joking on that. But no, if you want to hear that story, I don't know if I can get to that. Maybe someday. But yeah, it just didn't end up working out because I had the collateral and all that stuff, but they really and my credit was good. Like Steven's got great credit, but like mine was fine on its own. It really was. But they're like, so when's would your husband be comfortable signing on too? And they really couldn't give me a reason why. Like I was talking to other friends that have office space and most of them were men, so they didn't understand that, you know, sexism still exists. They're like, oh no, that's stupid. Like, just go with somebody else. I'm like, I went to like 3 different office spaces and it's like, hey, what if the man that obviously runs things got involved, sweetheart? That's what it felt like. Ugh. But yeah. So that was fun. So I ended up not using the curio cabinets for their original purpose, and it worked out because I just had them display my toys instead. And yeah, fucker. So now I'm gonna dwell on that later. But as I was moving stuff, I had a bit of a breakdown. I remember this because I found my Phoenix pin, and it's a Jean Grey as Phoenix, not Dark Phoenix, pin that I used to always put like on the like lapel of my coats and sometimes on my hoodies. But it just really kind of like stood out on my little coats, and I thought I lost it. And so as I was moving stuff out, I literally cried when I found it. I like sat down and just kind of like, I'm so glad I have it. I'm scared to wear it again. I really don't want to lose it or think about how I would react losing it a second time. But yeah, I'm 40 and emotional over a Phoenix pin. What? Speaking of emotional, wait, is it emotional? I don't know. I was talking about margaritas, and it made me remember, as of the beginning of November, I have been sober for 2 years. 2 years. Hey, Terri. Yeah, Terri, I'm proud of you. Thanks. Thank you, me. I don't know. I really don't, and I'm not going to think about it. That was not planned. I'm very, very sorry. But yeah. That's emotional. It feels like, not that much time has passed since I decided to stop drinking. And I really don't think I relied on alcohol, but maybe that's naive or myopic or something else. Because I feel a lot better. I am healthier, and it rewired stuff. Like, I plan my life differently around not factoring in having a drink. It made me examine myself more in social situations and just how much of a social lubricant it was for me. I'm more awkward when I'm meeting new people, but I don't know if I can put that on alcohol. I don't like being at a party with a lot of booze. Not because I'm tempted. It's just not the same. And shout out to the friends and family that don't give me shit for, being a square now. I was going to say a square, but that seems like stupid. No one's been like, wow, you've changed, man. Don't you want to get fucked up? It's just, yeah, my friends would never do that because they're awesome. And yeah, I've been recording, been keeping busy, recording a lot of things, actually, none of which I think I'm allowed to talk about right now. You might have noticed I really don't talk about work all that often, especially on social media, and that is 100% by design. It's like, hey, maybe I should talk about the book I wrote again. It's like, oh, you already talked about it once, like, 8 years ago. Way to be conceited, Terri. I should be better about promoting myself. I really should. But there is something about not wanting my feed to be nothing but announcements. I'm from the top 8 MySpace days. I just want to post about whatever. So changing from, I got to promote to this and, I got to mention this to, I like this, or I think this is funny, or maybe I should, take another photo of my dog while also casually mentioning that I'm watching another episode of Below Deck. It's a better way to live, don't you think? I don't know. I think I always show off my personality, even when I'm talking about cons and casting and stuff. But I never feel like I'm doing it right, is I guess what I'm saying. And, or enough, or something. But I don't want someone following me to only see, like, announcements. I want them to, like, see me. Like, as a person. But, do remember that, yeah, like, social media is curated. Just because I'm not talking about stuff doesn't mean I'm not working. I'm talking to you that edit pages talking about how I'm fucking retired. But that's a whole other thing. And there's more stuff coming down the line that I will eventually clog your feed with and then feel guilty about like 2 seconds after posting because I feel like I'm being too something. But, just because I want to talk about it, that's when I'll talk about it. Not because I have to. And because I'm grateful that I get to do what I do. So between recording with awesome people and auditioning for really fucking cool stuff, I've been pretty content with caveats. Content with caveats. Let's go with that. And I'm very happy to continue to be here with y'all. And like I said, I can't believe we're about to hit December. And I don't like it. Like, I haven't gone gift shopping, and I really don't want to because capitalism is stupid. And I finally get why, my aunts and uncles gave me socks and shit like that that they got for free at work. Like, I had most of my family growing up worked at the shoe factory. And so we always got like, house shoes and shit. And I'd be like, oh man. And now I'm like, man, I would kill for a good pair of fucking house shoes. Or then I had a lot of family members all moved to the 3M factory. And guess what we all started getting? It's like, how many first aid kits do you think I need? Or what are you saying about me? Maybe they didn't get them for free and they just remember how accident prone I actually am. Who knows? But shopping is stressful, especially for kids. Hot take, I know. Ugh, I'm not looking forward to it. I am enforcing boundaries more, which is why my niece and nephew will not be entering my house until they know how to act right. But no more, and no more conversations that can take place on a day that isn't the holiday itself. Let's be happy. Let's not be as depressed. Is that a better, goal? I don't know, but way to close off the episode, Terri. But, as always, thank you for continuing to listen to Obscure Chatter. Remember that you can always be a part of a future episode by submitting questions and requests to obscurechatter@gmail.com. All submissions remain anonymous. And, I look forward to talking to you in December. So until next time, read good shit, watch good shit, listen to good shit, don't be a shit, and call people on their shit, even if it's Turkey Day. I will see you in December, you beautiful ho-ho-hos. You're not hoes. Or maybe you are. There's no shame in that. Be a hoe. Love you. You hoe. Bye.